And so today we're going presenting your product and opportunity. So we're going to be talking about that as well. By the way, I'm going to be having in October, probably 4 weeks from now, as a matter of fact, it might be exactly 4 weeks from now, a public speaking live in-person training here at our office. Okay, stay tuned for that. It will be announced this week. It'll be free to Powur reps. People that are not in Powur, they're going to pay $100 to attend that training. Okay, so any Powur reps, it's going to be free for you guys. But be aware of that. If you want to attend, and if you register for that event, make sure you show up to that event. It's a very important training. It's going to be like a 3-hour training on public speaking and communicating. So, anyways, let me share my screen. Let's watch this video.
Most people only pay attention to the final product of a successful entrepreneur. They say things like, I can never be like them, or they got lucky. What most don't see is what they've overcome. All the struggles, the daily rejections, the heartaches, the betrayals, the rumors, the criticism, the empty bank account, and all those lonely nights while trying to make their vision a reality. You see, the only difference between the one who quits and the one who doesn't is that they showed up every day. They worked hard every day. They hustled every day. They learned from a proven mentor every day. They improved every day. They did all this even though they felt like quitting every day. And eventually, they became who they are today.
Woo. That video hits me.
Love that
hard,
guy.
man. Yeah,
Patrick Ben is a great guy.
you guys are fired up. I hear some people fired up. I've been following Patrick Bet Davis since like 2008, and I've been learning from him from afar. I am a product of a lot of things, right? The Creator's grace, the teachings, my first mentor, my mom, right? But learning from mentors from afar, and he was one of those mentors. So that video, I remember I sent that video in Spanish to my mom, and my mom called me like a couple minutes later. She said, son, that was you right there. I remember seeing you go to these meetings and stuff and being broke and trying to figure it out and promising to me that you were going to be successful one day. And you did that for years and years and years and years until it finally clicked for you. And she was emotional when she was sharing that with me. So anyways, that video hits me real, real hard. So want to share that with you guys. How many of you guys can resonate with that video? By a show of hands. How many of you guys can resonate with that video? Yes. But let me tell you something. It is worth it. One of the things that I've noticed, I'm 40 years old, right? I started my entrepreneur journey officially at 18. And I've noticed that the most talented people do not become the most successful people. The most skilled people, the A students, they don't become the most successful people. The people that become the most successful are those that are mentally tough, that have thick skin, that are resilient, that have a reason why. Most people don't even identify why they want to be successful. Why? What are the reasons why? If the why is strong enough, the how will take care of itself. If the why is strong enough, the how will take care of itself. So with that being said, we're going to get started on today's training. So just want to share that with you. From time to time, I like to show some videos, right? And some videos that are inspiring. Next week, we're going to show an A.L. Williams video that is a very, very powerful video. So let's make it happen. Oscar says that he's stubborn and he's being broke, I think is what he said. So yes, I agree. I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. There are two pains. I want you guys to write this down. This is one of the most truest things that I'm ever going to say to you. There are two pains that we must endure in life. And I learned this from Jim Rohn. Two pains we must endure in life. Number one is a pain of discipline. Number two is a pain of regret. But one of those two pains you're going to have to endure. It is not easy. to be disciplined, but it also is not hard. It's not easy for me to drive by my favorite donut place called Randy's Donuts. It's not easy to listen. All I know, I just got to pass it. Just pass it, because if I pass it, I'm not going to make a U-turn. It's a lot harder to get there, right? So it's not that hard to pass it. The problem is that it's easy to pass it, but it's easier not to pass it. It's easier not to do it. Does that make sense? Kim says that's her kryptonite. Same thing with me, man. I stay away from donuts, but I love them, right? It's fine. But the problem, the thing is this: we are either going to experience the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. So Jim Rohn says the difference is that discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons, right? If we have the discipline to put a 5-year game plan, you guys have heard me say this a lot of times, it takes 5 years to make life fair. It takes 5 years. If the average person actually put 20 hours a week into this business consistently, following the proven systems, and they did not veer away from it for 5 years, they would not recognize where they're at financially. The thing, it's not that hard to do. It's actually fairly easy, but it is easier not to do, right? So anyways, let's get it going. So today I'm going to get into skill number 3, which is presenting your product and opportunity. Okay. So I'm going to get into this book, and I'm reading right from the book, and I'm going to hit on a couple of different things from the book. So in this part here that I'm going to read says, the pros never made themselves the issue. More than that, they never presented themselves as experts. They acted as a consultant who connected prospects to tools, events, or other distributors to help them become educated. We're talking about presenting your opportunity, right? So for example, if we're sitting down with a customer, yes, we're going to present the opportunity for them. But when you're new, a lot of times, my wife, for example, went to an event this Sunday, as a matter of fact. She went to an event this Sunday. It was like a fitness event, and they have booths there, right? The gym she works out at hosted a fitness event. They had a booth there. It started at 9 a.m. At 8:30, she tells me, oh my God, today was that event. I said, you should have gone to the event. You told me you were going to go to the event. I forgot about it. If you were not going to go to the event, Jennifer, and I was getting ready to go to the gym, I said, if you were not going to go to the event, you should have told me that you're not going to go, and I would have got somebody from my team to go. That's a wasted opportunity. So that lit a fire under her, and she says, okay, can you take care of the kids then and go to the gym later so I can go to this event? I said, yes, go to this event, put the booth, right? And I'll take care of the kids in the meantime. When you come back, then I'll go to the gym. Well, long story short, that's what happened. She got 3 leads, okay, offering the Vegas trips, 4 homes, because one of them is a duplex. She says, I want it for the front house and the back house. The other one is the owner of the restaurant that we're in there. And she also has an Airbnb in Big Bear. So those 4, possibly 5 homes that we needed proposals for. One lady already sent her the bill. My point is, working works. Now, she doesn't present herself yet. I present for her. When you are new, I told her, you got to focus on these 3 steps to sell solar. Number 1 is get the interest. Number 2 is get the bill. Number 3 is get the appointment. Don't overcomplicate things. Get the interest, get the bill, get the appointment. Focus on that. What her job is to do is to pique the interest, identify, are you interested in solar? Yes, great. I need your utility bill so I can design a solar savings report. By allowing us to give you a free solar savings report, our company will give you a free trip to Vegas, right? 3 nights, 4 days. One of the ladies, after she gave her the bill, says, by the way, did I win the trip? She says to her, yes, as soon as we present to you, right? As soon as we show you your solar proposal, whether you go solar with us or not, you're getting that trip to Vegas. It is such a smart way to get business. For those of you guys that want to know how to get that, go to smartsolarrep.com. Somebody put it on the chat. My point being is this. She's going to use the expert, me, to help her close that sale, those sales, multiple sales, right? Her job is to pique the interest, get the bill, get the appointment, and use third-party experts. Now, I'm going to talk about when it's your time to present as well. But when we are new in direct sales, people overcomplicate things. Even experts, for example, I consider myself an expert in the network marketing and direct sales profession. Not only do I recruit a whole lot of people, but I duplicate that organization. And I've done this for over a decade, very successfully. So what he says here, pros never make themselves the issue. More than that, they never presented themselves as an expert. They act like a consultant and connect prospects to tools, events, or other distributors to help them become educated. In this case, my wife is connecting them to me. I am the expert, right? Now, she doesn't let them know that ahead of time, but she's connecting them to the expert. That's what the tier 1 people do. They connect their prospects with the experts until they are able to close themselves. Now, what about with recruiting? My job, let's say, for example, I meet Calvin today at a networking event. And I'm like, hey, I see that you're a real estate agent, Calvin. How's the real estate market treating you? Casual. My philosophy when I'm prospecting people is I am 007. How would 007 do if he was in this business? How would he carry himself? How would he talk to people? Would he be cool, calm, and collected? Yes. Hey, Calvin, how's it, I see that you're in real estate, you're with Century 21. How's the real estate market treating you? It's an interesting market right now, huh? See, I don't sound like I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to pitch you an opportunity, right? I'm cool, calm, and collected. Because if he tells me it's not that good right now, JC, you know what? A lot of people are leaving and whatnot. And, it's just slow. Things have changed a lot, right? And this happens every, 10, 15 years. I would say something along the lines of, I know exactly what you mean. As a matter of fact, in my business, we have a lot of realtors that are coming and working with us in our business. What do you think his next question is going to be? His next question is going to be, well, what do you do? Right? Now, if I tell him I'm in the solar business, you know what I mean? We help, people have their own nationwide solar brokerage. Matter of fact, the commissions are very similar to the real estate industry. We make $7,000 to $10,000 per sale, right? By the way, have you ever considered, offering solar to your customers? My point is, after I pique his interest, I'm not going to schedule an appointment with him to present to him. I'm either going to invite him to, for example, tonight's 5 p.m. opportunity webinar, or I'm going to send him a presentation, pre-recorded presentation that is proven to work. Since I started with Powur, I probably personally sponsored close to 200 people since I started with Powur in 2020, March 2020. I've personally recruited about 200 people myself since then, right? About 85% of those people, probably 90% of those people, I did not present the opportunity to them. I either had them watch a pre-recorded presentation or attend a live event or a live webinar event. I don't make myself the issue. I'm not emotionally attached to the outcome. I want to go out there and expose as many people as possible. Now, will I make an exception for certain people to sit down with them? This next part I'm going to tell you is important, very important. Will I make an exception to meet with people? Of course. The main reason, however, why I use the tools to do the heavy lifting is because of a key word in team building. If you want to build a team, I'm going to give you one of the keys, one of the major keys in this business. And here's what it is. Duplication. Duplication. The reason why I use the tools to bring them on board is because when I recruit them, I'm also training them. Hold on. There's a guy named Jesus Christ trying to enter that room. That is suspect. So I'm going to kick that person out for not putting their real name. Remove. Let me submit this here. Okay. All right, here we go. So here we go. That was weird. So here's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to the business, it's about duplication. So as I recruit him, I am also training him. Why? Because I just piqued his interest. I said a couple things. I piqued his interest. Once he identified he was interested, I use a tool to recruit him. If I sit down with him and recruit him myself and do a full-blown presentation, if he's not ready to do that, he's going to think that that's how he needs to recruit people. And then guess what? He might go out there and fall on his butt. But if on the contrary, if I go ahead and get him to pique his interest and get him on a 5 o'clock webinar or a pre-recorded webinar or a live event, he's going to be thinking, that's right, that's what you did with me. That's how I can recruit people as well. Am I saying that I am not recommending for you to sit down with people and like do a full-blown presentation. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that the majority of the time that you recruit people should be using third party. Third party is anything but you that is proven, whether it be somebody else, whether it be a pre-recorded presentation, live presentation, whatever the case may be. Something proven outside of you, and it creates more duplication. Now, with that being said, I mentioned about a speaker training that I'm going to be doing in the next 4 weeks. One of the things that got me very, very good at presenting was presenting. So here's what I mean. Back in 2008, I was with a network marketing company and I hadn't made 6 figures yet. And then I joined my mentor's company. Some of you guys have met him, Jay Nolan. And in that company, I earned my first 6-figure income for the first time. And then after work, the 1 year after working with him, I made a 7-figure income for the first time. My point being is this. One of the things that changed is that I recruit a whole bunch of people. I sent Jay Nolan's presentation. And as my team grew, I would schedule non-stop presentations with my team. So let's say I recruited Anthony. Anthony would schedule appointments at Starbucks with me, and I would go and I would present one-on-one presentations. You bring me your prospects. I was at Starbucks all day long. That was my office. I was at a Starbucks. I call it showing the plan, 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 showing the plan. I literally show the plan on 5 to 7 different occasions daily. And I would have a weekly group presentation every single week like clockwork. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the best days to do those presentations. Like clockwork, I would have that presentation, and I'd have one group training every Monday, and either Tuesday or Thursday, I would have an opportunity presentation, and I would do 5 to 7 presentations daily, showing the plan, showing the plan. Got to the point where my team grew so much that I couldn't go to a local Starbucks within a 50-mile radius, and more than likely find team members there presenting the business. And my team grew to 17,000 people selling a healthy coffee product, okay? But I had never experienced that level of success. But one thing my mentor taught me, says, hey, you got to become an expert at showing the plan. Now, what I was presenting to people wasn't really my prospects. It was my team's prospects. So I was a third party, right? Then I had a pre-recorded presentation that they would share. We would have the webinar that they would show up to. We would have the live events that they would show up to. But my point is, the key to the success was that nobody made it about themselves. They used third party. So let's keep it going. It says here, in network marketing or direct sales, it doesn't matter what works. It only matters what duplicates. So write this down. Again, this is especially talking to the team builders. I phrased it different. It's not about what works. It's about what duplicates, because what works doesn't always duplicate, but what duplicates always works. Here's what I mean. I could sit down with Johnny right now, and let's say I do a phenomenal presentation. I pique his interest, I schedule the appointment, and I myself show up and present, and he says, what an amazing presentation. Makes total sense, JC. But I can't do it. And I asked Johnny, why not, Johnny? You just said that it was great. Johnny says to me, the reason why, bro, is because I can't do what you do, bro. When you called me, man, you were excited, and like you had every answer. I had a couple of objections. You answered my objections, scheduled an appointment with me. I met with you, and then you presented to me this incredible presentation. Bro, I could never in a million years do what you did. You're going to be very successful, bro, but this is not for me. See, I don't want Johnny thinking that. What I want Johnny thinking is, hey, what you did, you asked me a question if I was open to looking at, to making some extra money, if I ever considered the solar industry, whatever one of the pitches is, there's a couple different ones. And I say, yes. You sent me a video that piqued my interest. That 3-minute video was a great video. I was like, yeah, sure. That 3-minute video piqued my interest to see a full presentation. Then when I saw the full presentation, I was in. I just had a couple questions, simple questions. You answer, or you put somebody on the phone to answer for me. Every step of the way, I could do that. That is duplication. See, I may be able to close somebody. Let's say I did sign him up. Johnny's fired up. He signs up. But then he does. Remember, the way you recruit somebody, you're training them. Then he tries to do the same thing to his family and friends. But his family and friends, he might not be as experienced as I am, as confident as I am. So he goes out there and tries to do exactly what I did, and it will not duplicate. That is one of the keys, one of the major keys to network marketing, direct sales. The pros use tools instead of their own wisdom. The pros use live events instead of their own presentations. The pros use other distributors to give the facts instead of giving it themselves. The pros don't present themselves as experts. They just invite people to learn more about the product or opportunity and let the third-party resources provide the information. The pros bring passion, enthusiasm, excitement, and belief. The pros bring passion, enthusiasm, excitement, and belief. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a tip that is a very important tip on team building. Your people will follow you, and not only initially follow you, but continue to follow you based on the belief that they believe that you have in the business and your conviction. If they do not believe that you are sold out and that you are going to the top, their belief will be limited as well. But if your people, I've said this to people, I probably even said this to Anthony. Anthony, I don't know if I have, but maybe I have. Anthony, listen, the solar industry is where a lot of us are going to get very rich. And my brother, I love you. You're my friend. I'm going to do this with or without you. But because I love you, I'd rather do it with you than without you. Because I'm going to the top. I'm either going to see you there, right? Or I'm going to see you from there. But I'm going to the top. And I'm not going to let this opportunity miss out. Do you guys see the difference between that and somebody says, no, listen, man, I really think this is a great opportunity. And, I'm excited about it. And, I really think that you should really consider this too. That's how most people are, though. Most people don't even do that. Like I learned a long time ago, I got to be all in. I got to be sold out. I got to be the most sold out in my opportunity. And that faith, that belief that I have, I will transfer into other people. It will literally make a lot of people in your team and in your list, people that you haven't yet recruited, believe bigger because your belief is big. You got to bring, again, the passion, enthusiasm, excitement, and belief. You got to, I hate the term, but it's true. Fake it till you make it. They don't know how really, imagine this. Imagine there's a crazy pandemic like we went through. During the pandemic, my son was 3 years younger, 6 years old. Maximus was 6 years old. Alexander wasn't born yet. He was noticing things and he would ask questions. He says, when is the coronavirus going to leave, Daddy? I said, son, it'll leave soon. We don't have anything to worry about because we take our vitamins. We live a healthy life. Don't worry about it. If I make it a big deal, my son will make it a big deal. Even if my son, parents know this. Let's say you got a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, falls and trips, even a 6-year-old, and hurts their knee a little bit. If the parent runs over there, oh my God, are you okay? And they try to pick them up, the kid will more than likely start crying. On the other hand, they fall a little bit, scrape their knee a little bit. Oh, you're okay. Come on, get up. Let's go grab the ball. And you don't put a lot of attention. You put the attention somewhere else immediately. You know what's going to happen? The kid will more than likely say, oh, it's not a big deal. I guess it's not a time to cry. I'm telling you, I've got 2 kids. I've got 9 years experience being a parent, right? And not only that, I was raised in martial arts and I taught martial arts to kids where they would get hurt, right? So as a teenager, I learned how to deal with kids in that sense. But my point is, your belief, your enthusiasm is contagious. And other people will be afraid not to follow you if you are all in, sold out. But here's the thing. Why are most people not all in and sold out? This is a part of presenting, because you present to recruit. You present to sell the opportunity. The reason why most people are not sold out is because most people are not even consistent enough to come and listen to this information. They're not consistent enough to do the business. Because guess what? If you do the business, You get, even if you don't got a sale, you haven't made no money, but you got a couple leads, couple of appointments. Doesn't that get you excited? You just bought yourself like some oxygen. It's like you're underwater, but you got yourself some oxygen. You can live a little bit longer. You got it, right? You get to a training, things start to click, things start to make sense. You see other people, now you just keep going. It's from winning, little wins, extend your oxygen a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And if you get on here and you see a leader's excitement and passion, that will translate as well. And you will go out there and have that excitement and passion as well. So let's keep going. I started by learning how to give a short, effective testimonial. This is very important when it comes to presenting your opportunity. You got to start learning how to give a short and effective testimonial. Learning to tell my story was extremely valuable in building my business and has been to this day. People aren't interested in how much you know, but they are interested in your story as long as it doesn't bore them. So no matter your background, no matter what your background is, you can craft a compelling story. And I found a very good story has 4 elements. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what the elements on the book are, and I'm going to tell you what the elements that I teach are. Both ways of telling your story are good. Here's what he says in this book. Number 1, write this down. You got to have your story that you say over and over. If you plan on building a team, when people bring you, you have no idea. As you start building a team and you start to become successful, your team will bring people and introduce them to you, right? Your job as a leader is to, welcome them to the team, edify the team member that brought them. Let's say Anthony brings me a bunch of people all the time. He brings me a couple of folks. JC, can I introduce you to a couple of people that are very sharp and they have a lot of potential? Yes, set up the call. When they set up that call, my job is to say hello to them, to edify Anthony. Edify. By the way, Michael, Anthony is one of the top mentors on our team and one of the top mentors in the company. You cannot be working with a better leader. You are in great hands with Anthony. I got to solidify the fact that they are working with the right person because these people have come to me because they've edified me. Hey, JC's one of the top mentors in the company, done this, blah, 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 one of the leaders in the company, etc. Right? Your story, even if you're not saying it to team members in this sense, let's say, for example, you're presenting to people. So if I sit down with Michael to present to him, right? Let's say Javier brought Michael for me to present to him. I'm the third party. I'm not just going to say, hey, Michael, how you doing? Boom, let me show you the business. No, I got to build some rapport. Part of building a rapport is telling your story. So step number 1 in the story, your background. Okay. What did you do before Powur? Number 2, what are the things that you didn't like about that particular background of yours? What are the things that you didn't like? Number 3, how this industry and this company came to the rescue. Okay. And number 4, your results. And how your results and how you feel about your future. So here are my results. And here's how I feel about the future. For example, that is one of my favorite things to say. If I'm talking to a solar rep, let's say, for example, they bring me a solar rep. Let's say Michael's a solar rep from another company. I say, what I love about this company is that, I've been able to build a team of 1,600 consultants nationwide. And what drew my attention to this is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. What I mean is, I've got friends that have been selling solar for 10 years, and they're still selling solar. They're still knocking on doors. They're still calling leads. They have no passive income to speak of, right? So last year, I closed 118 deals, for example, and we made great commissions on those 118 deals. But my passive override income from my team, it was bigger than my active income from closing 118 deals. Do you guys see where I'm coming from? I am telling a story, and I master the story because I say it over and over and over again. The way I was taught to tell the story is this: your name, where you're from, what you did before Powur, and how Powur has impacted your life. Either one of those frameworks are going to work, okay? So it says here, for me, the evolution of becoming a presenter went through several stages. Number 1, now we're talking about the evolution of becoming a presenter. So write this down, pay attention. The evolution of becoming a presenter. Number one, learning my story. You've got to learn your story. You should have a story that you tell all the time. If you want to be a business builder, you should have a story. Even when I sit down with customers, I have my mini story. It only takes me like 15 seconds to say, 15 to 20 seconds to say, just so we could relate with them a little bit, right? But especially with prospects. So your story, number two, learning the standard opportunity presentation. And number three, learning the different training presentations. This is the evolution of becoming a better presenter. So the evolution of becoming a better presenter. I'm going to elaborate a little bit. Hold on. Write myself a note here I don't want to forget this. This, by the way, is one of the things I'm going to hit hard at the public speaking event too. Number one, we talked about learning your story. Got it. Number two, we talked about learning the standard opportunity presentation. And number three, learning the different trainings. The number two, learning the standard opportunity presentation. For our business, it's not only that, it's also learning the homeowner presentation. This is super key. Top Mentor 2021 as a rookie, first year in solar. Top Mentor. I'm the number one all-time sales leader in mentor sales in Powur. Lifetime. Okay? So I know what I'm talking about here. One of the keys to my success, Jonathan Brunasso closed my first couple mentor deals. He used a presentation. I said, I need that. I said, is that the presentation that you use every time you present? He says, yes. Great. I need that exact presentation. He sent it over to me. I did some minor edits to it. Like, for example, my story. My homeowner presentation has my story in it. Why I'm in this business. To help out my ministry, to help out my family, to help out my customers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's a part of my story that I tell every time. Because, see, you say it every time, but your customer listens to it one time. It's the first time they heard it. Does that make sense? So then I started duplicating this. People like Luis Perez, people like Anthony Bonilla, people like David Perez, people like my brother, Luis Rangel. My brother Luis been in this company a year. He's got 40 deals in. Not too shabby. He's closing a deal a week. Every week he's closing a deal. And he's growing his business, his team by a couple people every month. Just consistently building, right? My Ramsey Clark, same thing. Use a presentation like this. So here's the deal. Why? Because it is duplicatable. I need you to understand. For me, selling solar is not enough. Because I'm 40. I don't want to be doing mentor deals when I'm 50. Nothing wrong with doing mentor deals when I'm 50. But there is something wrong if that's not what I want. Does that make sense? Ain't nothing. I got a friend who's a plumber. What's wrong with being a plumber? Nothing. Unless you don't want to be a plumber, then there's something wrong, right? Because we are God's highest form of creation. We can change. It's not like you're a tree. A tree can't change. A tree is a tree. You are a human being. The Creator's highest form of creation, you can change. So, for me, the vision when I'm 50 is, guess what? To be worth $20 million at least and have no less than $500,000 per month in passive override / residual income, and to own at least 30 properties. It's got to be written down. The Bible even says it, to write it down and make it plain. Everything is created twice, first in the mind, then in the physical. If you don't even have them written down, you're not going to achieve them. You got to first put it down in paper, right? Know them ahead of time. So in the presentation, I said, I'm going to duplicate this presentation throughout my whole organization. Here's why. If I bring somebody on board, let's say, for example, I bring Kristen on board and I do a homeowner presentation for Kristen, but I use a PowerPoint. Then she goes to Johnny Mentor. Johnny says, oh, I don't got no presentation. I just use a proposal and I just talk to the customer and I get sales. I got the gift of gab. The gift of gab is not duplicatable. Are you guys starting to get this? The gift of gab is not duplicatable. Yeah, okay, you're going to be a lone warrior. You got the gift of gab and you could close deals, but do you want to grow a successful team? If the answer is yes, you can't rely on the gift of gab. You got to have a proven presentation that you can teach consistently and persistently over an extended period of time so you can have the right people. Syed is another perfect example. 4 weeks. Was it 4? No. 4 months, he got to mentor out in Illinois. right? Guess what? He saw me do the same PowerPoint presentation in 2023 that I was doing in 2020 for Anthony Bonilla. Same one. I'm not overcomplicating things. And write this down. Keywords. Master the mundane. Master the mundane. It's not nothing fancy. It is a system that's proven. So you got to have, why? Because now, what if I present to a customer for Jessica, and I use a PowerPoint presentation to close a sale. She goes for Anthony for her second mentor deal. He uses the same presentation, PowerPoint presentation, closes the deal. Then she goes with Syed. I got an Illinois lead, Syed. Can you help me? Syed says, yes. Syed closed the deal for her with the homeowner presentation. She saw 3 times now. Do you think she's better trained seeing the same presentation 3 times or seeing 3 different presentations all over the place? Duplication. Duplication nation is what we're talking about. Now, another tip on presenting. Memorize. Keyword. Golden nugget. Memorize your presentation. Practice your presentation. I'll give an example. I'm a martial artist, so I'm always going to go back to martial arts things. I used to compete competitively on a world-class level, especially in sport karate, on a world-class level. And I remember when I would slack off, when I would go to a tournament and fight, I had to think, if he does this, I'm going to do this. And if he does this, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. I had to think about what I was going to do. However, when I was consistently training, when I was prepared, I did not have to think about what I was going to do or what I would do if he would do this. I did not have to think about it. My body just reacted. The mind forgets, the body remembers. So let's say you're going to do a presentation for a real estate office. Hey, JC. Hey, Jonathan Brunasso. Hey, Anthony, do you have a presentation that I could use to present at a realtor's office? Yes, here it is. It would be such a silly thing for you to show up to that real estate office and present it for the first time. That'd be ridiculous. What you should do instead is review it on your own and even record yourself presenting it. You could get a free Zoom account that'll let you record for 45 minutes. That'll let you be on, for 45 minutes. And you could record yourself or even on your cell phone and just present it and record it. One of the keys to giving an effective presentation is to knowing this. As soon as a slide pops up, you don't got to look at the slide and read it. You already remember. So you see it at a glance and you tell people what's on there without having to go back and forth, and don't make them too busy. Don't have a whole bunch of lines of information. Memorize it. So whenever I do an event like the Mentor Factory, there's a lot of content to cover. I'm spending a lot of time going through slide by slide. Okay. And then I say it. Sometimes my wife walks by our office in the house and she's like, oh, daddy's talking to himself. My kids, yeah, daddy's talking to himself. Why? Because I am presenting out loud. Now I'm not speaking loud, but I'm presenting out loud. I'm practicing my jokes. I'm practicing the timing of my jokes. Some of you guys have been on my trains. You know that I go like this. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, some of y'all get that on the way out. I literally practice that at home. I practice my timing. Study, here's another tip. Study comedians. Some of the best comedians aren't necessarily the funniest joke comedians. They have the best timing, the best pauses, the best stories, and the best voice fluctuations up and down. Then they speed it up. They slow it down. They pause at the right time. How can you get good at that without presenting? Present to yourself. And some of the best speakers, as Ramsey just put in the chat, some of the best speakers, some of the best trainers are storytellers. Study the best speakers. Go study Tony Robbins. Go to a Tony Robbins event, which I recommend everybody go through a Tony Robbins event. Go through that fire walk. Anybody ever done the fire walk? I've done the fire walk. Where you walk on the hot coals, burning hot coals. I've done that. So check this out. All he does is he's giving stories after stories after stories. It also makes you a more interesting person. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. So memorize your presentation. So let's wrap this up. Okay. Learning your story, learning the standard presentation, learning the different training presentations. So to summarize this skill set, remember a few important things. Number one, When you are prospecting, you are the messenger, not the message. Get yourself out of the way and use a third-party tool. Number 2, learn to tell your story in a way that will make your prospects curious to hear more. Your story should be 1 to 3 minutes long. That's it. If you are doing a long form training, it could be up to 7 minutes long. 10 at most, but 7 minutes long. But if it's a fast interaction, you should be able to tell your story in 1 to 3 minutes. Number 3, when it comes to presenting in front of a group of people, preparation is key. When you're prepared, it's fun. Preparation is key. So if you're a tier 1 going to tier 2, not all mentors do this, by the way. Some of you guys have been mentored by mentors that didn't use a presentation. They just kind of use the proposal tool. They talk to the customer, ask the customer questions, and kind of ask for the close. I'm not saying that doesn't work. Matter of fact, I know it works. I don't care about it just simply working. That's the thing. I'm not doing this to simply get the close. I'm doing this to effectively duplicate and train a mentee. Does that make sense? It's not getting the close. It's not alone. It's not it. Yes, great. We each make $3,500. Great, but did you learn? Did I get you closer to becoming a tier 2? Because I don't want you to be a tier 1 forever. Did I get you closer to being a tier 2 and being a tier 3? So I want to show you through a presentation. So if you're a tier 1, going to tier 2, get the PowerPoint presentation and practice it over and over and over until the mind forgets, but the body remembers. You just say it. Like if somebody gives me, in network marketing, people used to say things like objections like, oh, is this one of those pyramid things? And I got good at saying things like, matter of fact, it is. And I have a spot all the way at the top. Do you want it? Right? Or whatever the objection comes, right? Or you know what? I don't have the money to get started. I don't have the money to get started, JC. How do you overcome that objection? There are a bunch of different overcoming objection trainings and scripts. But if you don't practice them, then you're going to be thinking about it, you're going to fumble through them. So preparation is key. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this section. Next week, we're going to go through following up with your prospects. That's going to be a good one. I'm not only going to read from this book, but I'm going to talk about some of the following up techniques and sayings and text messages and memes that I use to follow with my prospects when they're not answering me. Okay? Literally like 2 weeks ago, I had a prospect that wasn't answering me, a homeowner, who seemed very interested. And I texted him. I said, I won't mention his name. I'll make up his name. I'll use the name Johnny. I said, hey, Johnny, I don't know if I insulted you in any way. And I want you to know, if I insulted you in any way at all, I want to apologize. I just find it very strange that I haven't heard back from you. And I can't help but think that maybe I insulted you some way. My apologies. I hope all is well, brother. He texted me back within an hour. He hadn't replied for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. What are the odds that he texts me back within an hour? He's like, no, bro, that's not what it is at all. You know what I mean? And blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Another guy who's a realtor, professional, I shared this on the groups. I wrote to him, hey, so-and-so, just wanted to follow up with you like the professional that I am, the way that I'm sure that you follow up with some of your prospects in your business, and I think one professional to another, you can appreciate my follow-up. Anyways, I just, I would appreciate you to let me know if you're still interested or not. Last thing I want to do is be bugging you. So from one professional to another, I'd appreciate a respond back. Thanks a lot, brother. Have a good day. Emil says, I'm sorry, senor. I will call you back a little bit later. I've been traveling, whatever the case may be. But I got a response from him after a couple of weeks. So anyways, next week, we're going to get into following up with your prospects. So all of these trainings are going to be on YouTube. Make sure that you guys catch them on YouTube. Last week's training is on YouTube. So make sure you guys